Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
We hope you had a beautiful, happy red, white, and brew 4th of July.
Yep. Did you guys have any good beers yesterday?
I'm a little embarrassed to admit I did not. But I did have some delicious craft hard seltzers. That's right. Craft hard seltzers. We were doing the pool and someone cracked them out and they were like made with real fruits. And I was like, that's not bad. And then I just was sitting by the pool. And
wow, we haven't recorded in forever and we're back on the airways and you switched to seltzer after saying red, white, and brew.
Wow.
Well, you know, I didn't bring it. I didn't do it. I was just cooking the dog. So that wasn't my responsibility.
I actually did have some good brews, courtesy of the place of employment. We have a hazy red IPA on right now. It's called RED. It's in collab with Five Branches Brewing, and the red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's an awesome red IPA. It's in the Five Branches folks are out of Tarpon Springs, so in the Pinellas County area, Tampa Bay area there. And they are all former vets of the military, so it's a very cool collab we did with them. Had a cactus guava sour. I think, Blake, that's what you should have had yesterday opposed to seltzers.
Oh, well, I do have some sours ready to go. I have some key lime sours from Claremont Brewing that I was going to do. Sorry, Ferris. Who'd you say? It's Big Storm, and who was the other brewery that collabed with?
Five Branches.
Five Branches. That's cool.
Speaking of collabs, I got a collab beer.
So do I.
Ooh, look at that segue. You want to go first, Blake, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Go ahead.
So this is cool. This was actually back from Father's Day. I got a bouquet of beers. And so there's a bunch of I'd never had before. And this is a cool collab only because I think we've had a brewery from Green Bench in St. Petersburg, right? So this is a collaboration with Green Bench, but it's cool because I like when a local brewery does a collab with a brewery we would never get here because their beers are.
I got one that's very similar.
So this is a collaboration with Wiseacre in Memphis, Tennessee. And Ron, I don't think we knew that existed when we did our gigs in Memphis. Because I don't think so. We would have tried to find this place. So real quick, for those of you for the Green Bench side of things, they're in St. Petersburg, Florida. They have such a classy looking website. They got these like sexy pictures of their canning line and stuff. But they have like really cool, like Art Deco is the wrong word, but like the label on their artwork is always very I don't know, it's kind of got a cool throwback to it. They craft a lot of unique beers. They do meads, they do ciders, and they do fresh, local, and traditional ingredients. And if you check them out at greenbenchbrewing.com, I think we might have tried a IPA brute from them in the past, or at least I have if we didn't do it on the show. And then we go over to Wiseacre Brewing in Memphis, Tennessee. And man, their website's a ton of fun because their journey is important to them, and I wish more sites would do this for their brewery. So if you go to wiseacrebrew.com and click on Our Journey, they have a map of the United States with little key things on it, and then a timeline like you would do in high school for like with a World War II or whatever history timeline. And it's great. And it starts off, it says number 1 with no date, Dave and Kellen born and raised. 1997, number 2, steal parents' rental car and drive to Sam Adams Brewery while in high school. Number 3, 1999, Davin begins experimenting with homebrew as a college freshman. 2003, Davin and Kellen attend Oktoberfest. 2005, Davin gets state-of-the-art homebrew setup, buries head in beer books. 2007, Kellen gets a job with a beer distributor. 2008, they enroll in like all these different breweries. Davin studies at Doman's Academy, partners with breweries in Germany, graduates a salutatorian from his class at the World Brewing Academy. And like they just went in it, man. It's so cool. It's such a young age, and they got gold at the Great American Beer Fest in 2008 for an American stout. And then it carries all the way to 2013 with all the stuff they've done. Like they became the second level rated Cicerone.
Wow.
It's really cool to read in the Las Vegas area, I believe it said. But it's just it's just really rad, like the way they lay out their story. And they've got like the different places they studied, like in the Czech Republic, studying with Pilsner Urquell, Budovar. Like, it's just nuts, man. It's really cool. Like, it's clear that they didn't just like beer. They were all in it to win it on how this actually gets done. And it's pretty cool. And I like how they talk about how they were at it for nearly a decade, just getting ready to open before they actually got to open. So I'm also going to go to Memphis for another trip just to also hit this brewery up. The beer I got from them this year, it looks like they are doing what's called the Passion for the Pilsner. You probably knew, but we're not afraid to shout it from a hilltop like the wind in his hair. Do you see that we love Pilsner? Can you see that we will always love Pilsner? So Tiny Bomb is one of their big Pilsners they always do. But what they partnered with when it came to special beers, they said, when we post on December 30th, what do you want to see come back? Party Color, which is what I'm having here. So you guys can see it. It's kind of like an old school Italian artwork. That was the resounding cry, was to bring Party Color back. It was a collaboration with a different brewery back in 2017, and they've been working on a higher ABV dry hopped Pilsner, and they partnered with Green Bench Brewing to make this one. So it is equally clean and crispy to Tiny Bomb. Party Color features a more prominent and unique hop character from Hallertau Blanc. Additional Party Color has an extremely unique malt character featuring Weyermann's Italian, I'm going to say this wrong, Ericlean malt, which is grown on the Adriatic coast of Italy, northeast of Venice. If you'd like to get on the Venga bus and Pilsner party with us, look for the signage around Passion for the Pilsner coming your way soon. So I had this beer for the days because it is an Italian-style Pilsner brewed and canned by the good folks at Wiseacre Brewing in a collaboration with Green Bench Brewing.
Of course, an Italian Pilsner would come from someplace called Wise.
Right.
Acre.
Wiseacre.
Wise guy.
But yeah, so I want more of this place. I'm just looking at their beer list, and I just feel like this is the kind of joint we would absolutely dig. And Green Bench, I actually need to go visit in St. Pete because their place looks really cool too.
Yeah, I haven't actually been there. I've had a lot of their beers, but I haven't been there.
All right, well, Ron, when you get back in the country, it sounds like we need to take some day trips.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to take a couple months off, and it's going to be brewery tours and hiking, and just chill out.
I love this idea.
Love it. Well, Blake, I have the distance of a collab beat with my beer that you just said. A little bit further. From Tampa to Maine.
Oh.
I have a double dry hopped IPA called 1444. Kind of a cool can art of, you see, like Florida,
that's
Tampa,
cool.
And then Massachusetts there.
You mean Maine?
Or Maine, I'm sorry.
Fair flux geography.
I got no sleep last night. I should have just read the can, but I'm trying to like turn it for you and blocked everything that is on the screen. From Mass Landing Brewing Company in collab with Tampa Bay Brewing Company. So we've definitely had Tampa Bay Brewing Company on the pod before, but have not had Mass Landing on. This beer you cannot get here in Florida. I had this brought back by a Manian. Is that what you called? I don't know.
I like it. A Manian sounds cool to me.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with it. By a friend of the pod that we all know, Mr. Gregory Mitchell. He saw this and knows how much of a craft beer fan that I am, and especially those of beers in the local area, whether it be here or Tampa. And very, very cool. It is 6.7% alcohol by volume, brewed with Idaho 7, Pacific Sunrise hop, and Aska hops. It is a collab that is actually all sold out now. You cannot get it. They were selling it in 4-pack of 16-ounce cans. And the description on their site had said, distant locations, similar minds. At long last, we are able to host our pals from the opposite end of the East Coast for a collaboration. Tampa Bay Brewing Company team traveled 1,444 miles from their brewery to ours to celebrate the distance both our breweries have come metaphorically since we have started working together. And
nice.
The site for Mass Landing Brewing is exactly that, and just click.com. And a little bit about the brewery. Mass Landing Brewing Company was founded in the spirit of innovation, collaboration, and creativity. Since opening in 2015, we have showcased our beers at festivals across the country and internationally, shared them with new fans here in the Northeast, and poured them for countless locals and visitors at our tasting room in Westbrook, Maine. We focus on brewing the highest quality beers while also using our independence and socially conscious mindsets to support our local community and industry. Our goal is to make sure that each Mass Landing beer that you drink is amazing, whether you're visiting us at our brewery in Maine or enjoying a pour at your favorite bar or restaurant with family and friends.
It's a dry hop double?
Yep. A double dry hopped India Pale Ale. So I'm imagining as soon as I bust this bad boy open, I'm going to get a lot of good floral and piney smells.
The flavor enhancer.
Sounds like a new Arnold movie.
That thing is going to, if it's double dry hopped, that thing is going to have such a hop aroma. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's like my second double dry hop that I've had on in as many pods.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think Ferris is finding his favorites.
They are good, but this one is just
well, Ron,
brought back from Maine because you could not buy this at Tampa Bay Brewing here in Tampa. You could only get it up there.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
yeah, Ron, when you get back, just wait, buddy. Is an explosion of sours just going to change your mind in
There's
your
like
life?
Smoothie sours now. Like Slurpee.
We're going to find one for you.
That ain't happening.
We have some good ones. A lemon lav sour. You know you want that.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
What's your beer?
My brewery is kind of a typical Chinese microbrewery. You can't find any information about them on the internet. Mostly because microbreweries pop up and go away very quickly here in China. And because of the Great Firewall, they don't really do a lot of, like a lot of web advertising.
Not like an online presence thing.
But I didn't think about it till just now. I'm going to check WeChat and see if they have a WeChat presence.
WeChat.
Yeah. It's the best. I'm going to miss it when I leave, to be honest. See if they have one. Anyway, so my beer is an open water IPA. I think the art on this bottle is really good.
The hammerhead shirt.
Yeah. So this was created by a bunch of divers who were tired of not having good beer in China after their diving expeditions. So they decided to open up their own little microbrewery to, essentially supply their own beer. It got a little bigger than they had expected, and now they have their own little microbrew in near Suzhou and Hangzhou, which is just north of Shanghai, if you know your Chinese geography. And this open water IPA is a 5.7, it's a 5.7 ABV session IPA. And I got it in, I've talked on the pod before, this WeChat group called iPub. And this gives you access to beers all over China because the distribution and the selling of beer in China is not based on religious laws like it is in the US. So you can buy a single bottle and have it shipped halfway across China for you to try. So that's what I did. I ordered a whole bunch of different beers, and today's is going to be the Open Water IPA.
Nice.
Sounds good. Shall we do this, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Let's crack these bad boys open. Oh, God. Mine has exploded.
Yeah, it is.
And lap is full of beer.
Good morning, Blake.
Yeah, there's... Okay. All right, well, not drinking this out of the can. Oh,
look at this. Nice and cloudy.
Gentlemen, talk amongst yourselves. I need a second here.
Well,
Blake peed
here you
himself.
go.
My foam actually ended up in the glass, thankfully. Nice and cloudy. Nice cloudy IPA. I'm going to let the foam settle a little bit. Not my best pour.
It's all right. This is a very lager colored IPA.
Lager looking.
I mean, it is perfectly clear.
I'm curious to see what your opinion of that beer is. We recently have a session IPA on as well. I'm not the biggest fan of session IPAs. I'm not the biggest fan of session styles when it comes to beers.
Why do you say that?
I don't like how it alters the taste of what you think an IPA is, if that makes sense. Like I want to taste a bit more hops, not as much. Well, more hops with a smoother finish.
Gotcha.
I don't feel like sessions are quite that way. They tend to be a little bit more murkier, a little bit more crisp, in my opinion, and I don't necessarily want crisp from an IPA.
Right.
I don't know if I explained that any sort of good.
I mean,
or not.
I think I get it. Session beers were usually. Oh man, Blake's got the spray bottle out. Look out!
What the hell's he doing over there?
He's like cleaning up.
He changed his shirt and everything.
Uh-oh. But session beers were essentially a way to make the same beer but at lower alcohol contents, so that it was able to help drinkability, and you could drink more of them, that kind of thing.
It kind of came from like the early World War styles, and can be associated a lot with like the British styles of beers. And I think by doing that, that's where it kind of takes out. That's where I get the more like crisp from, like a lager. So when it's applied to an IPA, I don't want that. I want a little bit higher alcohol content. I want a little bit more of that hop taste and the different notes that those hops can bring, whether it's floral, piney, so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah, it's good to see you guys again. I've had a total change of clothes, and I you don't know if you guys could see. I cracked this can. We're on episode 152. We've had a little spillage. That's the most explosive that I've ever had while doing this show. One of those where like once it started, you have the quick moment of like, oh, I can do something to mitigate this, and instead then you go, nope, just let it finish. Just get soaked and let it finish doing its thing, and then go take care of it. So now at office,
isn't that a line from
Christmas Vacation?
Right. He's just got a little bit of Mississippi leg.
Just let him finish. Let him finish. Geez, man. My office now smells like piney, or not piney, but lemon citrusy Clorox spray and beer right now. I mean, literally, I had to pull the Arsenal jersey off. I was soaked, man. Good grief. Well, let's hope Beer's good. Why would that have exploded like that? Jeez.
Overcarbonation. Was it warm?
No, went from the fridge in my kitchen into the fridge here in the office. And it's cold
guys.
When I grabbed it.
Playing a little trick.
Yeah, there you go.
So as Ferris can attest to now, because he's working at a brewing place, typically if your beer goes from the cold keg but warms up in the line, when you go to pour it out of the tap, it usually just foams like crazy because of all that expansion of the CO2 in the line because it's warmed up. So
maybe it warmed up between the two.
How it happens in beer cans too.
Yeah, maybe so. If I have the other one that's in here in like 20 minutes, it'd be fine. Maybe it didn't get cool enough in between. I should have put it in there earlier in the morning. Dang. Well, that was a good one, y'all. But I'll say this is a really good Pilsner.
I'm afraid to drink this one because it smells like apple juice, right?
It looks like apple juice.
Cheers, gents. Ferris looks like orange juice.
Thanks, Greg.
You gents were delightful waiting for me.
Oh, man.
This is good. It's nice and crisp.
This has no discernible hop aroma because it smells like apple juice, and it has no discernible hop flavor. All I get the entire way down is malt.
Welcome to kind of vaguely what I was describing with a session IPA, but it seems like they didn't even get anywhere near an IPA.
No, I can't. This is really much more like
a Doppelbock or like a Bock. It's super malty.
Yeah. There's so much malt in it. It's like if there was such a thing as a light Doppelbock.
Did you say Ferris yours?
It's more of a session Doppelbock.
Did you say yours was not super hoppy, Ferris?
I'm sorry?
Did you say yours was not super hoppy?
Oh, no. I mean, I definitely taste a lot of those hops. Get a little citrus, get a little piney, get a little I guess like zest there as well.
I dig this.
And it's very, 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 and you get all of those smells when you first just kind of put it up to your nose, and it's drinkable. I can't tell if the aftertaste is of the beer or because about an hour ago I brushed my teeth when I woke up. I don't think I've had anything to drink since then. So there's that, but this is fantastic, and it's only 6.7, so it's a good number for a double dry hopped IPA.
If you do like that flavor that's on Italian Pilsners, like a Peroni or something like that, this is definitely got. But it reminds me of like how you can get craft Mexican lagers now. So it's that flavor you like, but it's fresher. If that makes sense, And this is kind of the same vibe. It's like that Italian Pilsner, but it's just
Tactical
fresher.
Makes a good one. It's like kind of the only brewery that I've seen in the area that has a Italian Pilsner on.
Well, I'm a big Pilsner fan, so other than setting off a bomb in my lap, this is really a good experience.
This beer is largely forgettable.
That's what I thought. That's where I was like, I'm curious to see it doesn't sound.
At least it's not like that one a couple episodes ago where you had to like work your way through that one.
Didn't I pour that out?
You might have.
You valiantly attempted through the entire thing to have it, but then you were like, I'm done.
I've had a record-breaking 3 pour-out beers this year.
Well, it's when
152 episodes. That's pretty good. Could you imagine most of our episodes we had the same beer because we were in the same place. So once you relocated,
I know, right?
It opened up. I mean, each show now we have like 3 different beers. We didn't used to do that except for special episodes. So we've had so many more. So I guess statistically speaking, we're still doing pretty good.
There seems to be a trend with Ron. It's from a Chinese brewery, and the can or bottle art looks good, but the style of beer is like off the wall, like a session IPA or whatever you had. Like, I can't even remember some of the other ones, but that you're just like, I don't know if I don't know if a Chinese brewery can do that style anywhere near as good as probably. They always seem to be like, that tastes like applesauce or
whatever. Like,
yeah.
This That's one straight smells like apple juice.
Can art's or the bottle art's fantastic, but you don't see session IPAs a whole lot. So that's why I'm like Founders and that's about it. Like
the top 3 breweries in my experience in China. Granted, I haven't had every brewery, but the top 3: Jing'e, Great Leap, and Boxing Cat. Those are probably the top 3.
Those are the ones that I remember you having that. Yeah, all the beers were.
I know you.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say. I know you said like you were talking prior to starting the show, kind of giving us your updated schedule and stuff, and how you guys are gonna take a little time off to do some stuff. But part of it included probably coming here first to grab some things. Whatever that is, if you've got like a 3-day window, Ferris, we have to boom, we're doing this. If there is no soccer news, we're doing a live in session pod one night with the 3 of us before you head off for your little decompression from being overseas and working for a bit before you get back in town for a much longer stretch.
I'm going to send back a whole bunch of beer so that you guys can taste the insanity.
That sounds.
Some of these beers.
You're so kind.
After he's had a couple bad ones in a row, now and he's like, dude, I'm gonna send back so much beer. I'm like, whatever if you want to.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
I'll tell you what, you bring that, and we will bring Butternut Brewing's new batch of session beers.
No thanks. Nope. They had their 3 chances. They are no longer. On the pod.
We got to get Butternut. They still have 1 beer left we got to try. We got to try Anthrax, right?
3 and out. 3 and out. You're done. We've had this conversation.
I don't disagree with Ron.
Look,
listen, 4th of July was yesterday. Somebody might have had seltzers. It's still America. And baseball games were happening on the 4th of July. And what happens? 1, 2, get out of there. That's what happens to butter nuts.
Oh man, still, if you haven't listened to that episode, one of the worst breweries we've ever had.
There's multiple episodes, not just one.
No, I still have Red Snapper.
Years old and remember that time that Blake and I sloshed through it while Ron sat in that chair hungover as shit. The glazed look, and Blake and I looking at each other like, you son of a bitch, you're not even having any of this.
I've still got some in the fridge.
That was less fair of me. However, I think that is only trumped by you trying to make a beer float out of your bet beer.
Not try. I did.
Oh, he did. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I did.
It turned into a gross cement-like mixture, but it was pretty intense. I gotta get those 2 episodes and just have those on standby because I forget which numbers they are.
Yeah,
but I still have
row those out there again, like the best of
the thing that's
Brewtiful
nuts.
Game, and just throw those out.
Of the 152 episodes we've done, I have to sometimes recall what beers we've had. I will never forget Butternut Brewing's Pork Slap, Butternut's Brewing Moo Thunder, and Butternut Brewing's Red Snapper, which I still have two cans left of that Red Snapper. But remember, the Red Snapper wasn't actually necessarily awful. It just made me angry that it was supposed to be an IPA and it didn't taste anything like it.
That's this open water IPA.
Open water
like apple
IPA.
Juice.
You just didn't know it was the open water of a sewage treatment plant.
I didn't know that it was hammerhead shark piss.
That ain't the friggin' Christmas star. That's the lay of the sewage treatment plant.
You're gonna hear a dump truck going through a nicer glycerin plant.
Oh, we got a couple. I can't wait to have you back though. Yeah. If you're back here for just a couple days before you head back out, we got to squeeze an episode.
We got to figure it out. Speaking of Italian pilsners, though. Boom. The Italians and a little Euros.
I was going to say, I set us up on a good segue. I should have actually gone last maybe, but then my beer would have exploded in my lap. So it all worked itself out.
It would have ended with the bang.
Boy, did it. Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's where we're sitting at for the Euros have been I was going to say a blast, kind of a snooze, then a blast. And then, obviously it started with a
blast. It was a blast, but in a bad way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It started off.
You remember that first that first Saturday, I think, of the games, which was, it was the first Saturday of games because it kicked off with Italy and Turkey, I want to say. way back on June 11th.
That feels like a lifetime ago at this point.
But then that big Saturday, that first, so the 10 a.m. game or something here over on the East Coast, that Denmark and Finland game.
Yeah.
When Christian Eriksen, and if, I would assume a lot of the people that listen to this pod have watched and seen that crazy, horrific sight on live television. And
and in the meantime, obviously he has gotten out of the hospital and everything else, but like they had to install a defibrillator in his heart, in him, that for his surgery he had.
That's freaking cool though. Like,
that you can do that.
Technology is cool. That's awesome.
That's some Tony Stark kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
there.
That's like Christian Eriksen's a superhero now. Well, that's awesome.
I seriously doubt. Well, it's not. Well, as long as you have a defibrillator in it, you're certainly not playing the game. And if they can't really figure out why, I don't know that he'll ever get cleared to play again. But he seems a cool dude. I hope he can, like, I don't know, become coaching staff somewhere or something. Like, I hope the dude can stick around because
I hope there's some sort of a redemption story.
Yeah, like something cool comes out of it in the long run.
He has, the love and support of the entire football world, whether you've played the game, whether you're a bunch of schmoes like us, whether you're not a fan of Denmark, whether you're not a fan of Christian Eriksen or the teams he's played for, Spurs, Inter, so on and so forth. You don't ever want to see that happen to anybody, let alone somebody playing a sport that we all love.
Well, and
I wouldn't wish that against anybody.
That was just insane. I mean, it's easier to talk about now because now you actually know, like, obviously he's okay, but that was just crazy. And you realize when you're watching it, you go, oh, this is way more serious than anybody's. Like, this is really bad. And then of course, flash forward to Wednesday, so in a couple of days from today. We're recording on Monday, July 6th. Oh, so July 5th. There we go. I know what year it is. So we got semifinals, and we've got England versus Denmark.
Come on, England.
Man, I am a tough spot. Ron was talking about this before the pod started, though. As a neutral, as a Premier League fan, of course, I know a lot of the players in the England team, and so I'm rooting for them. But man, as a neutral, it would be pretty rad to see Denmark go all the way to the end, especially considering those dudes chose to come back and play the rest of the game that day. Yeah. Apparently, what part of it being that Christian Eriksen was like, you guys finish it. And then they lost, and you just kind of felt like, I think they might fade out of the tournament, and no harm, no foul to them. You know what I mean? It was like, how do you do that? And if you fade out that way, that's fine. I mean, it's just football, right? And your friend literally died on the pitch. Like, whatever, but for them to have rallied like they have, and let's be honest, they've turned out to be quite good. It's a great semifinal. They ended the group
with 1 win and 2 losses, but that was good enough to get them on goal difference by a positive +1, second in the group behind Belgium. Finland was able to get in third, I believe, and Russia was knocked out. Both of those teams had 1 win and 2 losses as well, but Finland with a -2 goal difference and Russia with a -5. But it wasn't till they got in with Wales that you're like, all right, Denmark and Wales, your initial thought is that's going to be a nice, like, 1-1, 2-1, 1-0 game. Denmark put the hurting on Wales, 4-0 in the round of 16. And then turned around. What's that?
So that's a brutal beating on the Wales team.
Yeah. And then just in the quarters, beat the Czech Republic, which was playing very, very well. Have one of the players of the tournament in Schick, who scored 5 goals. He was not the leading goal scorer, which we'll kind of get into that in a second, but beat them 2-1. A very good Czech team, and now they face the I'm pretty confident in saying the powerhouse of England, who have not conceded a goal thus far in the tournament.
So let's talk about that, because a lot of fans were complaining about the lack of spunk from England, for lack of a better term. They're like, it's kind of parking the bus. They're not really being aggressive. And I think English fans are seeing flashbacks of, okay, great, you don't concede any goals, but man, if you really don't go for it, we end up fading out of these tournaments that way. But this strategy is turned out to be brilliant. It's more of a, I don't know, a Jose Mourinho vibe of old Chelsea, where look, you can complain about him parking the bus, but this group can also score quickly if needs be, and they have lately.
They're very, very well. They're set up very, very, very well by Southgate.
How is Man United going to afford Harry Kane after this?
Oh, easy. Easy.
Well, Barcelona's
take out another 150 million in debt, and then we'll.
Barcelona's got no money left, so he ain't going there.
Yeah, I was going to say that they'll just be like
Super League. Well, and I know you're getting at that because Jadon Sancho, the Borussia Dortmund youngster, former Man City academy player, who plays for England and actually got his first start the other day in the 4-0 win against Ukraine, signed for Manchester United for 80-some million pounds, euros, equates to about 100 mil over here. And I was texting a buddy Phil, and I was like, I like the player a lot. I don't think we necessarily need the player. I would have rather put that 100 mil in Harry Kane, but I don't. I like him. It adds depth. He's young. He's English. He is what Solskjaer has come in there and done the entire time.
Now we should put a pin in that, because I really think we should finish talking about the Euros, but I think it segues into is we should talk a little transfer stuff like that for Premier League. We can do that after after we finish Euros, because I knew we were going to get sucked into a Premier League vortex. Right. There was no way.
But with England though specifically, he has set his team up. Southgate, that is, has set his team up to beat the team in front of him, despite what the brutal English media may say about not starting Grealish and continuing to start Kane, although he had 0 goals in the group stages. He continued to play a certain style, and that style is what is referred to as a back three. Now, in my opinion, it's not so much a back three as it is a back five. But
I agree with that.
It can go. It's kind of in the eye of the beholder type of thing, because those wing backs. The first game it was Reece James and Chilwell, I think, and then it went to Luke Shaw and forgetting somebody on the other side.
Walker?
I can't think. No, Walker's played in the center back pairing of 3 with Stones and Maguire since they've been back.
Well, it's been working.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. They didn't do that for Ukraine.
Yeah,
for Ukraine, they had a back 4.
No, they didn't.
They had Shaw, Maguire, Stones, and Walker in the back. 4-2-3-1. Phillips and Declan Rice kind of in the midfield, and right behind Sterling, Mount, Sancho, and then Kane up top.
Yeah, well, yes. So, but for the group stages, they mainly played a back 3. They altered. You are correct. For Ukraine, they went for it a bit more, and you saw that with a 4-0 win. Yeah. Sancho hasn't gotten the start. You also put Mount back in that sits behind Kane, and you get a bit of more attacking presence, where what they've been doing in this back 3, back 5 is having the wing backs add to the offense. And you have a Foden Mount, which, in my opinion, don't really mesh. It's like a Gerard Lampard type thing. They're very similar in the styles of play. Raheem Sterling, Kane, and then you have Phillips and Declan sitting there kind of in the midfield holding that down. Those two have been pretty much mainstays in anything that Southgate has done.
Right.
But you're not attacking as much in that sense because you only have 4 midfielders, if you include Rice, Mount, Foden, and Phillips, and really only 2 attacking players in Raheem Sterling and Kane. So, but what you're talking about, Ron, with Ukraine, they went for it more, and they had Mount more in that attacking-esque role, not kind of in having to cover that midfield ground. Then you had Sancho off to one side, Sterling off to the one side, so you had that kind of 4-3-3 in a way. And one of the players for England, and I'm not, that regardless if he plays for Man U or not, I love all of the things out there that's like, Jose Mourinho, are you watching what Luke Shaw is doing? Because
he's too busy greeting the throngs of people picking him up at AS Roma.
Yeah, I saw that.
But don't you think Southgate through this though, what he's kind of proven himself to me as a manager is he's a perfect national team manager. Right?
Because he goes game by game, which is all you need to do.
Exactly. The game by game thing in a league is not going to get you very far at some point. Like, because you just can't match to everything perfectly.
And you can't adapt styles to different teams because you're in the league that you're going to see them 2 times a year.
This is perfect, man. But look out, World Cup. I mean, like,
well, let's come on. Let's not.
Hey, man.
Let's not go. Let's not go.
Here's the thing. World Cup. It's going to be crazy. It's timing, the fact it's in Qatar, all that stuff. I'm saying look out World Cup because anything could happen. This is going to be a wild one. It's going to be a wild one.
My Leicester's prediction is that Iceland wins it all.
But who in this tournament's been better so far or impressed you more? Italy, who have not lost in like 10 years now, it seems like, or England?
I think expectation-wise, England has come together far better than I anticipated. I do think,
according to the English media, yes.
Right. I do think,
judging from past...
Yeah, but they did well at the last World Cup.
No,
they did
do well
at the last Euros because Iceland beat them, but in the last World Cup, they did very well. They got to the semifinals, I think.
What's the difference between T and the English team? T stays in the cup longer. We know that's how this works.
Hashtag Alex Morgan.
We know that's how this works. So for them
to be belated birthday to Alex too.
For them to be doing this, I am a little surprised. But that being said, Italy quietly excellent, and you discount them at your own peril. They could still easily walk away with this whole thing.
Yeah, I think Spain's going to be an interesting semifinals matchup for them. Italy's been in a few bouts now. They beat Belgium 2-1. Very, very good win. Very, very good win. Kevin De Bruyne coming back from injury in that one. Didn't look entirely fit, but still looked very good, and they contained him very, very well. They got 2 goals in the first half that was just a mountain for Belgium to come back from, and they defended very, very well in the second half. They got past Austria 2-1 in extra time, they got that extra goal in extra time, or to that extent. So they've been in a few bouts, and so is Spain though.
Yeah, I was going to say Spain has been the last 3 matches for Spain. Spain versus Switzerland ended in it was a 1-1 draw, which ended in penalties. Spain wins. The one before that was probably the single greatest day of the Euros. Was the Croatia, Spain, France, Switzerland day, which was just incredible football all the way around. Spain basically gives up a 3-goal lead to Croatia. Croatia comes back in stoppage time to equalize 3-3, and then in extra time, Spain ends up winning 5-3. But before that, Spain's road has been pretty easy. They were up 5-0 over Slovakia. Poland, they drew, which that was a complete surprise because Poland punching way above their weight. So I don't know. I think Spain's been in a bit of a slugfest, especially lately. I think it's going to be quite an entertaining match to see those 2 titans of international European football go at each other.
Yeah, I agree. And Italy's definitely had the harder road thus far, I would say, as than England have had.
Yeah.
And I think in England, Italy final will be very, very interesting. But Austria, okay, not the hardest, but to go through Belgium and now have to go through Spain, that's two hard things. Unlike England, who now, in fairness, we haven't mentioned this yet, did beat a German squad.
Oh, right.
And played them very, very well. And for Germany to get out of that group in second and have to play England, and for England who finished their group first, to have to play Germany, that's like the group of death, and how like the bracket just kind of panned out there is very, very interesting. But very good win over Germany. They haven't beaten Germany in ages.
I think this German team that's been in the Euros, there's just something not clicking for them.
Fully there,
right?
Timo Werner.
They have always been the grind you down team, and they're just clinical, and they're just machines when they get out there and play. This tournament has been very different from that style of play.
Which is nuts, because you do know the definition of football in Europe, and it is 22 men chasing a ball for 90 minutes, and in the end, Germany wins. So that's a really big deal that England did what they did. And man, I'll say it worked. Yeah. I was surprised the amount of British flags and stuff I saw. People were like stoked.
Yeah.
Oh, someone is knocking on my door.
Ron, to your point, that Germany team, there were two very lacking things from Germany teams that we've seen in the past. One of those being a prolific goal scorer. Right. Miroslav Klose, Thomas Mueller to an extent. Yeah. I mean, he's a little bit older and bossed up that one, but Timo Werner's not leading the line there for you. He's not taking his chances. He's not a man of confidence. He's just not Kevin Volland. Not strikers that you want at this tournament that are going to get you to semifinals of a tournament.
Yeah, Gnabry. I didn't think Gnabry was. He didn't have that many chances. But
Gnabry needed to play more. He came on as a sub in the England game.
When they played, I'm looking at the stats from Germany-Hungary at the moment, which, Gnabry got the start. And I'm glad he got subbed off because he wasn't being very creative. You could tell he was not having that great of a match, but he wasn't even pulling defenders. It was kind of
because he's the only threat that's worth covering at that point, in my opinion. And if he gets the start, he can kind of figure it out a little bit faster and start pulling and start going and trying different things. He doesn't have the time necessarily to come in the 70th or 80th minute to just what he's coming on for. He's just going to run at the defense, and he's a threat, yes, but he's not what I'm talking about with that prolific goal scorer.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The other thing they don't have is a really solid balance in midfield. You think about the Germany teams in the past. Think about like the latest that won the World Cup. Who was in the midfield? Sami Khedira and Bastian Schweinsteiger. There's balance. Schweini.
Yeah.
There's balance there. There's a little bit of big number 6 type role with Khedira that could put in a tackle and really cause an issue and protect that back line, where Schweinsteiger at his best was all over the place and able just to create. Right. Gundogan's a good player.
Afton has thoughts about Schweinsteiger.
A good player. Afton's a fantastic player. But there's no real grit there.
It also
if Kimmich
like
could have played more in midfield, I think that would have helped, but
yeah, they had him off to the right a lot.
Correct. And his best position may not be that. His best position may be sitting in front of that back four and just protecting.
I think you're right, that midfield being so inconsistent. And other than Cruz, I don't think there was a consistent starter for any of the, maybe Sweet 16 or round of 16. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a consistent midfield pairing in the center for any of those matches other than Toni Kroos.
Right, because exactly what I mean is he's mixing and matching, trying to figure out what that is because he doesn't have balance there. He knew his balance. It was Kroos, Schweinsteiger, Khedira. That was your mid. Khedira protected and linked, and Kroos and Schweinsteiger were all over the place playing balls in. And you had strikers. You had what's the big handsome fella that Gomez? That was for them. That could put the ball in back of the net.
Who's a big handsome fella? Who's a big handsome fella?
The big handsome fella.
I think to be honest, Gomez. One of your better scorers out of the whole campaign has been Kai Havertz. He's been the most consistent.
But even then, he's a midfielder. So you have a plethora of these attacking midfielders with no balance, with nobody that's going to put in a tackle. Really, like Goretzka's a good player, but I consider him more of an attacking midfielder than I do a center defensive midfielder. So you have him, Havertz, Kroos. They're all attacking.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop anybody coming in from the back? They're not. Like, they'll do their best. I'm not saying they're poor players, but you just don't have that balance in midfield, and that's what I think Germany lacked a lot, and that's why, to your point, he chopped and changed a lot. And Havertz is a good number 10, but he's not a prolific goal scorer. Right. He's not a Harry Kane up there or anything like that. That's your out and out number 9 that's going to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and they needed their back 3 that they played a lot of, Rudiger, Hummels, and Ginter. Those guys really needed a bunch of protection from those midfield 2 of Gundogan and Kroos or whomever, and and they weren't getting that from.
No, I correct. I love Hummels, but he's like a year younger than me. I mean, he's in his mid-30s at this point and hasn't an amazing player, but you have to protect him a bit with who you have. Yeah. Ginter and Rudiger are definitely a good kind of balance there at center back with them, but who's sitting in front of them that adds an extra layer of protection?
Can I just add one small thing?
Absolutely.
Why do you have to bite your opponent?
Oh, yes, dude. What? Why?
Now Rudiger is
the unwritten code of soccer.
Why? Rudiger is a Chelsea player, and man, I was all for him.
Gross.
Until he bit somebody,
and he did it with the face mask on, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Brilliant.
He had the Zorro mask and everything flying, and he bit
Pogba.
Pogba, thank you. Yeah. And it's just Choppers Part 2.
Love it.
Put your teeth back in your mouth and play soccer.
I don't
it's like they really go with, I can't use my hands to do anything, so I have to use other parts. So
I mean, I only say this because I had a dog who was nervous, and when he got excited or nervous, he didn't know what to do, so he would just go bite and shake a pillow. Right? Like, that was his first response. And Blake, you remember, buddy. He whenever he would get nervous, he'd just go chew on something. Why are people like that?
You mean like the blinds that covered the entrance to the pool? We came home and it was like, what has happened? And we had to see it.
Like a murder scene.
We had his dog and my dog. We had to CSI to figure out which one of them did it by taking like the bite marks out of the blinds and putting them in the dog's mouth to see which one had done it.
But why is Rudiger biting somebody?
It's why, like you said, why is that the instinct? Why biting someone is so far removed from anything I would do.
Yeah. It's like, it's biting and spitting Why do people want to use their mouths as weapons of nasty destruction?
Especially like post-COVID world, man. You're just like, come on,
get
dude.
Your mouth off of my shoulder.
Yeah, oh, God.
And the only thing that saved him, honestly, was Pogba. Because Pogba was like, oh, no, we're friends. Like, it's okay. It's like, okay, you're friends. But take the biting to the hotel or something. Not in the middle where there's 1,000 cameras that can watch it in instant replay and something called VAR, and now social media has it, and there's meme after meme, and why didn't he get sent off? And Pogba's like, what the hell, bro? And then he's like, oh, no, we're friends. And it's like,
that's a good point. Well, the younger players that are coming in now, like imagine the players that are 16 right now, right? Because of VAR, they will grow up in a world where VAR is like professionally always there. I wonder if it will change that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because
I hope the headbutt is brought back.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not saying any of it's good. You shouldn't do it as an adult, but like
Zinedine Zidane,
good old Zidane headbutt. But
I have more respect for a headbutt. I'd rather you headbutt me than spit in my face,
spit on me or bite me.
Ugh,
like, don't put your bodily fluids on me. Just get a good old fucking headbutt to your noggin, and you're done, mother.
I mean, I was all about Choppers the first until he became a biter.
He patented it.
And now Choppers the second is here. I can't wait for him to be transferred off of Chelsea now.
Speaking of Choppers, isn't Suarez Uruguayan? Right?
Yes.
I think they just got knocked out of the Copa, that other tournament that's happening. They just got knocked out by Colombia.
There's only 8 million tournaments happening in the summer now.
Yeah. Gold Cup here starting in like tomorrow.
And then the Olympics.
Well, some that are supposed to be happening, some that have been delayed, some it's such a wild.
Everything's just collapsed on each other. But back to the Euros. As we got a little bit off track.
Euros 2020 being played in 2021.
The 2021, 2020, like going back and forth. I think ESPN's coverage of it has been fantastic. I like how they're changing up the staff there, and they have a Khedira or a Del Piero, all of the hosts. Kelly Cates, who usually works on BBC 5 Live, is fantastic. All of the announcers. I think ESPN's doing a good job. But one of the things of this crazy tournament that has been so weird is, do you know who leads the line in goal scoring?
I do.
Who is that?
Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, sir. The infamous player.
The Golden Boot?
Yeah, the infamous player. The infamous player. The OG. The own goal.
The own goal.
There's been 8 own goals of this tournament. The most ever. Yeah, semantics. I know. Just
the
go
OG. I'm with you. I like it. I see what you did there.
The most ever in the Euros, 8. It started off with, I believe, the first goal of the tournament, actually, Italy and Turkey. Then there was an own goal in Slovakia, Poland, an own goal in France, Germany. That first France goal was actually an own goal. Then there were 2 in Germany, Portugal. Remember both of Germany's own goals in the first half? There was 1 in Belgium, Finland, 2 in Spain, Slovakia, 1 in Croatia and Spain, and 1 in Spain, Switzerland. Other than that, Ron, Cristiano Ronaldo has 5.
That's a lot of Spain games.
That's a lot. I did list a lot of Spain games there.
You did.
But it wasn't always Spain, I don't think.
Yeah.
Spain had have had 2 own goals go their way. And everybody else looks like they have had 1. But yes.
The one that I think was the most surprising, and I'm sorry I cannot recall the teams because I don't get to watch them live. I can only watch the highlights. But it was a back pass to the goalkeeper.
Who took it's a Spain game. Yeah, that was a Spain game.
His eyeballs off the ball and just let it roll right past him while he stuck his foot out for it and completely missed it.
I can't remember if that was...
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot...
The worst...
Was it the Slovakia game or was it the Croatia game?
I can't remember.
I just know I think it was everyone was incredulous because they all realized they had seen the worst own goal that had ever happened for a goalkeeper, I should say.
Yeah, I think it was the Croatia game because it went down as a Pedri own goal, but I think it was because of the back pass. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go with it.
Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
What's really the thing that I'm looking at here goes the 2020 European, but all the dates have 2021 associated with the own goals. You're like, what? Huh? How does that work?
Yeah, it's funny because when you're on the internet, if you look up the 2020 Euros, you get different information than if you look up the 2021 Euros.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Who guys, like, the group of death, Group F was fun. We wanted that to continue going on for ages. But which team did you find yourself tuning into most?
Like as it was going, like what team did?
Yeah, like you were like, oh, they're playing on that day. I need to watch them.
I mean, I think like I said earlier, because we know some of the players, because we follow Premier League. Obviously, England is always one.
Yeah,
it perks my interest. After the opening day with Denmark, I certainly tuned into Denmark. Probably those two for me. Yeah,
that's I would always go to the Denmark highlights first.
Now, because of the last Euros, I really enjoyed the run Wales had. So prior to the Euro starting, I kind of had Wales as a pick to watch, but they just didn't really do too much.
I both of those definitely England games. I wanted to see what Scotland would do in their first major tournament. Scotland didn't do that well, by the way.
No, that's another one.
They did draw to a bit of controversy with England.
Correct. That was probably Scotland's best game, and they'll consider that a win. Right. But I like that Group D, that England, Croatia, Czech, Scotland game. Croatia are good, and they went out in extra time to Spain. And the Czechs, I thought were going to make a much longer run. You have the two Premier League players there, Souček and Kufal, who have been great for West Ham. And then you have Patrick Schick, who I think probably scored one of the goals of the tournament with that, just over midfield chip that he had.
Oh, yeah.
Against Croatia. I think it was Croatia, or was it Scotland?
Where he shot it from half the field.
Yeah. From half court, baby!
Yeah. It just
that was crazy.
A good one. And other than that, I mean, Belgium, bit of a disappointment this tournament.
Brothers. Yes, very much so.
Thorgan better than Ian, especially in this tournament right now.
Those are some good names.
I mean, they did what they needed to do. They won all three of their games with a goal difference of 6. So they 9 points, goals for 7, goals against 1. But then you get to where it actually matters. And they beat Portugal. They beat a good Portugal team. So, okay, I give them that.
And they lost to Italy.
But you got to show up better. Not an easy run for them in that, but I wouldn't say they dominated the Belgium-Portugal game. They kept Portuguese players at bay. They kept, Ronaldo at bay, Jota at bay. Bruno, I don't think had a very good tournament for Portugal. I think he just looked tired. When you got to do pretty much everything for Manchester United, when you get there, you're just like, yeah, man, I just need the summer off, bro. Come on. So I don't think he looked great. But I wanted to see more from them. A lot of people picked them as number 1. France, how crazy was France going out in the round of 16 and in penalty kicks?
Yeah.
Would you have guessed that Mbappe is the one that hits it off the post?
No.
Wow.
No.
No. Wow. That was wild. That was the guaranteed one.
The kid's going to be amazing. And you have like Pele that reaches out to him on Twitter. That's like, keep your head up. It'll be fine. And I'm sure we'll see him roar back with 70 million goals for PSG. He'll win the Champions League in France. He'll win the World Cup in 2 years. But wow, expected more from France too. Crazy.
Yeah. It's been a quite a few of the bigger, usually more dominant teams, like we talked about with Germany, just not here at this tournament.
So is your pick, are you thinking it's going to be Italy, England for your final?
I would love to see that. Yeah. I think, yes. And I would like to see England pull it out, extra time, PKs, in the only English way that you can possibly do it.
I think that the Denmark-England game could go to that.
I can see that. The thing is what we've now seen from Southgate setting up his teams to beat the likes of Germany 2-0 and Ukraine 4-0. There's not a Denmark striker that concerns England. I think they'll set them up to get out of that game like a 2-0 win.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up being England. I'm going to say England, Spain.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And I think England's going to take it because I don't think Spain is. I don't think their midfield into their defense is not good enough to keep out the likes of Sterling and Kane and Mason Mount.
I concur.
Possibly Sancho again. Well, I don't think we're going to see Sancho again on this one, but.
Well, speaking of Sancho, does this roll us into, before we run too long, a little Premier League transfer conversation?
Sure. Manchester United, the biggest signing thus far, I would think, right? Kane hasn't gone anywhere yet. Messi hasn't gone anywhere yet.
Messi hasn't gone
Messi. He's never going anywhere.
Hey, he's technically he's on a free right now, so you just got to pay him his salary.
Yeah, no way.
I don't think he's going anywhere, but Kane will be interesting to see where he goes. Yeah, I mean, Sancho to United's good. Don't get me wrong. If, right now, the starting lineup possibilities with him in it involves like Rashford, Cavani, him. When Cavani leaves in a year or two, you have Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho. Like, that's pretty damn English and pretty darn. That's a lot of pace up front. It's a crap ton of pace. So I like Sancho. I like the player. I don't necessarily like the signing. Not for that cost. I get that's like the premium that you have to pay for a young Englishman these days. But with Greenwood already there, I would have liked to have spent that on a Kane that...
Well, regardless...
is English, but a little bit older.
Regardless...
And can put the ball in the back of the net a hell of a lot more.
You bring up a really good point, because regardless of any teams, whoever they want for transfers right now, the market is... It's like the housing market here. It is highly inflated. English players are going for so much because, you're supposed to have like 17 English players in your squad. I believe it's all said and done. Something like that. I forget the exact number. But
in between your squad and your like reserve squad, essentially. Something like that. And
they go for a premium, and it is inflated, severely inflated right now. So many players are. It's an interesting time because all the prices for all the players are so inflated, but all the clubs, because of COVID, don't have as much money. So it's an interesting transfer period that's not very normal.
I will tell you guys transfers. Sorry, Ron. I will let you finish, but I'm actually going to compliment a player of yours here for a second. In your very Arsenal-esque shirt that you have on. It's very Highbury kit-esque. The kit that you love so much.
Oh, me?
Yeah, your shirt.
Oh. It's very like Highbury-esque lines.
It's just a bunch of paint splatter.
Yeah, you're still wearing it. Love it.
But I'm not wearing it as a soccer kit on the world stage.
That is one of the most beautiful kits known to me.
Ferris is going to wear one.
I myself will be wearing that kit when Blake, Phil, and I see Arsenal here in a few weeks' time.
That's right.
At Camping World Stadium.
Good. I won't be there, so I won't have to vomit on it.
I just love that Ferris is wearing the kit. I'm going to get so many pictures.
No, that's fine. Like I said, when we went down and saw United versus Real Madrid a few years ago in Sun Life, Phil, who we've talked about on this pod, is a big Arsenal fan, branded a United kit during that time. So it's only right that I repay the favor. But if it's going to be an Arsenal kit, I want to wear that kit. And he's probably not going to wear that kit, so I'll wear his. Or I might even buy that kit because it's that good of a kit, Ron.
Well, and it's not. Well, plus you're going to be in the supporter section.
Opposite land.
You're going to be in the supporter section, so you don't.
I'm not about to get killed. You
don't want to wear
Camping World Stadium. Of all the places that I want to die, it's not Camping World Stadium.
Yeah, you don't want to wear a kit, a Man U kit to an Arsenal supporter section and hear this. Yeah, that's forever on our soundboard.
I'll wear the Inter kit one day and the Arsenal kit the other day. But
there you go.
Where I was initially going with that before we went like 6 degrees of kits, Billy Gilmore, a very bright young Scotsman for Chelsea, it was just announced to go on loan to New Boys coming up, Norwich City. I think that's a sneaky good signing for them and a really good move for him. I think you're going to see him kind of...
What a good Scottish name.
Lead the line in a way.
Billy Gilmore.
Billy Gilmore. When our freedom.
So what were you about to say, Ron, for the transfer?
What's that?
I was going to ask you guys what your opinions. Is Grealish going to stay at Villa? The club is really confident that he's going to stay at Villa, but...
the only other place he goes is City.
I agree. I think it's either he stays or a city comes in with so much money, or a club, period, but probably City, that they take it. I think that's it.
He'd be a good signing for City because they have yet to find a David Silva replacement.
Well, it's a very interesting right now because you have a lot of, there have been moves contracts have expired or yada yada, but nothing like, Sancho is probably the most talked about one. There really hasn't been anything too crazy going on.
You guys are forgetting. Hold on. The Ewok himself was re-signed for another year at Manchester United.
Hugs at Man United for another few years. 3 years?
Because
God, I love that man.
He's got to get his walker out of storage there.
It's fine. When he comes on in like a Tuesday night in Stoke FA Cup game and pings a ball across the field for a wonderful goal, that's why he's there.
There's a lot of managers catching flack for players going for cheaper than they were purchased, but the market is so weird right now with the English players being so valued and stuff. It's been interesting to just kind of see the conversations.
For Arsenal, if you guys lose Xhaka, that's a huge loss for you guys. And the cost that you might lose him at, anywhere between the 15 and 25 mil range, that you're not getting anybody in.
Whoa, just hold on a second. Because but 2 months ago, are you on this pod trashing Xhaka and his inability to keep his head cool and get dumb penalties or get dumb red cards?
I said
roll the tape,
probably
Ron.
had Xhaka had a good year. No. I'm almost positive I was not. I can't say for certain, but I'm most positive he was not one of the ones that I was saying. I bashed a lot on Aubameyang, who I like, but signed a contract and sucked.
No, specific was the trashing of Xhaka and his inability to keep a cool head because he cost us.
But that wasn't 2 months ago. That was like last year. That was when he was like pissing off fans and throwing his shirt off and all of that. Everybody was saying that, but how he's redeemed himself since then has been fantastic.
That word
he's
redeem
been a mainstay in that very poor Arsenal.
The question is, if you do let him go, who are you bringing in?
Nobody. There's the only person that I proposed to Phil was Declan Rice. Would be a fantastic replacement and a wonderful signing, but you're not going to ping him from the other side of London to there. But that would be the only player that I can think of that would be a comparable, or if you can ping Phillips away from Leeds, maybe. Think about like who's in the England squad right now. Those two are the most comparable with Xhaka. But what Xhaka brings and what nobody else on Arsenal has is that little bit of bite, that little bit of tenacity.
So as of 4 hours ago, they are still fighting with Chelsea and Everton for Ben White.
Yeah,
they're
fantastic. To do it 100%. They need that.
Yeah, that's a smart one.
They're still chasing Benfica's left back Nuno Tavares, who allegedly is flying in for a medical.
Wait, you say the left back?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yeah. Unless they think he can play right back, because you're not getting Tierney out of the squad.
No, but Tierney did have some injuries. I think having a little bit of some competition in there is not a bad thing. Because when Tierney wasn't playing, we were.
But again, it's another thing that Arsenal doesn't like. Fill out your first squad first, not your backup squad. Like let's work on who you're actually going to put out consistently, because Arsenal didn't do that this past year.
You barely have a starting 11.
Like a lot of people that just left out 11. On frees and loans and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
The Hector Bellerin gone.
Which, I don't know. Are we really actually sad about that?
No, I thought, I don't think so. It's kind of done. They're going after the Sheffield's goalkeeper, too. They keep going after him.
Ramsdale?
Yeah.
You should have never let go of the short sleeve dude from Villa. That was a huge loss. For 11 mil, that's a bargain for Villa. You traded one short sleeve for the other. Well, have you guys signed anybody yet?
Guendouzi, Saliba, and Xhaka, they're pretty much set. Guendouzi actually tweeted something about leaving and then deleted the tweet. Right? He was doing it because
he was out on loan last year.
Yeah,
he wasn't even there.
But he's gone. I mean, look, do we get Joe Willock back? We got this.
In the last two pods, Blake, you were all Captain Optimistic about, this is all going to be a great, continuing time of rebuilding, and we're going to be cleaning up in the summer. Well, how do you feel about it?
I don't think the words cleaning up in the summer were used in a year coming out of COVID money. I did not say cleaning up in the summer. But, I'm still optimistic, man. I'm still optimistic. Moves being made.
You might get into the European Super League Cup thing that they're doing when you get in 7th place.
I really want the Spurs to win that first one. That is the first trophy I want them to win. Is the NOI is that one?
That would be amazing.
That would be so good.
Yep.
So good. No, I'm still optimistic. I mean, right now it's still, the window's still going on. I mean, this is a weird transfer time.
Technically, it just opened up, right?
Yeah. This is a weird transfer time for, I think, the league and, Europe in general, everybody. Because,
pony up. That's what you got to do.
I'm just curious
to see Sancho. What
happens. Well, but you're not. Yeah, but you're Man United. You guys make so much money, and you have so much money.
The knowledge that Man United is more superior essentially just came out of Blake's mouth. But you're Man United.
You have more money because you sell so many friggin' jerseys, but it's not. You guys.
You know what jersey I'm wearing right now? To look kick in the pants. Remember that guy Van Persie who didn't win anything with you guys?
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. He's down in Aruba with his family on vacation, loving life, because he won a Premier League with Manchester United in this kit. Not this exact kit, but
say that you should take better care of that kit. No, I'm not any less positive or negative at this point with it. Xhaka is. I know what you guys are saying, but the thing with Xhaka, there's a weird thing where he can be very consistent and you go, okay, cool. And then when the game really matters to move ahead or something, he does something stupid, gets a hot head, and it sets them back. And
he hasn't done that for the Swiss team, though.
He didn't play as much for them as he did for Arsenal.
He played the entire tournament for them. He's been probably their player of the tournament.
I mean, as far as number of matches go. That's also an interesting thing to come out too. People's valuations will change based on their European, which is historically not a smart thing to do. If Xhaka does great during the Euros and someone says, he's worth 10 mil more, I'll spend it. Traditionally, when people do great in their national team in one of these tournaments, it doesn't always translate back to the club play very well.
It's like the hot item at that moment.
Yeah.
We live in so much of a at the moment, do this, that, opposed to having a 2-year plan.
Exactly. And not even talking about Xhaka specifically, but any player now, for whatever reason, they're in a national team that just happens to be set up in a way that favors them better than their club. Yeah, that's always this is just going to be a really wild time coming out of all this because money just isn't flowing. So, while there are some big bids for Man United, but all then it puts because of that though, dropping like the money you guys did for Sancho and stuff, any teams that do drop the big coin for the Harry Kanes or whatever, if they don't see an immediate return on investment, it's going to look real bad coming out of that, which is like an unfair expectation in a way because this is such a odd time.
And we've had that in past with United. You think of Falcao, you think of Sanchez, you think of Di Maria, you think of a lot of those that big money came in and haven't been up to par necessarily.
And there hasn't been too much, not much news out of Chelsea on stuff. Nobody really in there, mostly the outs. Really Caballero, which is just fun to say.
Who are they trying to get? They're trying to get in Erling Haaland.
We're also fighting for Ben White.
If you guys nick Ben White off of Arsenal, that's a blow to Arsenal. Huge, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
3 hours ago, thebootroom.com reported that Arsenal are now close to signing Ben White after the £50 million offer was accepted. So maybe you did get him.
I'd like to see him there. I think that would be good.
I think it's a good one. The big ends for the Premier League right now are managers. We have Nuno heading over to Everton.
No.
Yes.
No.
I mean, Spurs. Jeez, God. I am like staring at a Spurs logo and said Everton.
Correct.
I don't know what that says about me psychologically in the way I view
Nuno was also their like 10th option.
He was. Isn't that funny? They finally announced it and people were like, what? And then the next day.
After A, Y, B, C, D, F, G. Like, what the hell happened?
So.
Everton signed who?
Though I think
you know this.
I do, and now my brain is fried because we just
former Liverpool Newcastle manager.
Dang it!
Let's get those search buttons going. Let's go
from
Rafa.
Jeez, man. Yeah, Benitez. I could not think of the. Yeah. Yes. So we have managers at Everton, Rafa Benitez at the Spurs. We have Mr. Nuno from his stint at Watford, who was at one point looked at for the Arsenal
Wolves,
gig. And now he's at Spurs.
I thought he was at Wolves.
He was at Wolves. You're right. Not Watford, but the Wolves. The other W word.
The Watford manager, what I think you're thinking of, one of the former Watford managers just signed for Sheffield United in League One.
And then... last but not least, Patrick Vieira just signed on to be the manager for Crystal Palace. So
it was
him and Arteta. That is literally going to be the banter every week. As soon as they announced Patrick Vieira, I thought, they're just going to compare the two of them and how the two of them are doing every week to each other. You know what I mean? That's going to be the banter will be how Patrick Vieira does at Crystal Palace and how Arteta does there. I just think they'll be constantly compared the entire run of it.
I'm trying to find the manager that was at Wolves that signed for it. It wasn't Sheffield United. It was a championship.
Yeah, but have Rafa Benitez back in Everton. You know, it's funny. Everton announced they were like, you buried the lead. You announced him, and then you announced that you were breaking ground the new stadium right after. Whatever. Fans were not very enthused about it.
There was not much impressive about that.
Well, what do you think about Nuno to Spurs? Fans for Spurs also felt were very like, after all the names that they had been.
It's because your other targets were much more enticing and you didn't get any of them. So
yeah,
go with the 8 op. Like that's, I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I just think it's.
But he's a 1 to 2 year manager. We all know that, right?
Like, it's just one that's not what everybody had their thoughts on.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Marco Silva, went to Fulham.
There you go.
Fulham, that's what it was. And Scotty Parker, formerly of Fulham, went to Bournemouth.
Going back to Nuno for a second. I think that is a smarter move for Nuno than it is for Tottenham.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Because
absolutely,
he's going to punch above his weight. He's going to get into what did everyone call Tottenham in the Super League? A top 16, and he's going to do okay. But it's significantly going to rise his or raise the value of his stock for other teams. And I don't think Tottenham are going to get as much out of it as he would. If you're
a Spurs fan, it has to be a little infuriating though, because you've watched the club spike up to where they were, and then like have this sort of grasping with your fingernails at the edge, and you go, well, hey, but they got this manager, or they got a Mourinho, maybe we can, and then it still slips a little bit, and then you announce this, and it feels like the idea of competing and winning the league and literally being there. I don't think anyone sees that and says we could do that this year.
And Rafa Benitez was one of your targets and goes to Everton.
It goes to Everton.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if Kane doesn't end up staying,
oh yeah,
it's going to be way harder.
I think Son signed an extension. Did he not in this offseason?
Yes, I think they signed Son for an extension, 3 year maybe. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be. I mean, hey, as an Arsenal fan, I know what it's like, guys. It's the slippery slopes keeps going for a little bit. Once it starts pouring down the muddy slope, you keep sliding.
The good thing is that Nuno does know how to coach an out and out number 9. Right? I mean, who was his main striker for years at Wolves?
Jimenez?
Yep. Yeah. So you got Kane there. So, maybe the style doesn't change a whole lot, but that's contingent upon. Now, I don't know who can afford Kane. That's the thing. City can't afford Grealish and Kane. I think City need Grealish more than they need Kane. Yeah, I don't think we could have afforded Sanchez and Kane. I think we needed Kane more than we needed Sancho, but we got Sancho. So I don't think Kane goes abroad.
No.
Arsenal sure as hell ain't getting him. Chelsea maybe, but
I don't even think he's on our radar.
I don't think he's making the switch.
I think it's Man City or nobody at this point.
That's probably it, yeah.
And then that's not good. What does that mean for his morale? I don't know. It's just going to be a tough year for Spurs. And I feel for you on one hand. On the other hand, as an Arsenal fan, let's hope that means we end above you. Thank you very much.
They'll have more games to play than you guys, so you have more,
Hey, we got more time to relax. Hey, they got to win that super. What is it called? What's
I cannot remember
European
my life. I was
Cup,
trying to think of it earlier.
Super Euro Cup. It's super duper special cup. It's first year.
UEFA Cup.
The Cup. Europa, is it the Europa Conference League? Europa Conference.
The Conference League.
There it is.
Like 164 teams you're playing like.
Yeah. And the main reason why UEFA came out so hard against the elite, new Super League.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got so mad about that
really
and then turned around.
UEFA. Wow, let's have a conference league. Yeah, that's meaningless.
184 teams total.
I thought it was 160. Holy crap! Where do you get 184 teams with those that are in the Europa League and the Champ? That's pretty much
everybody.
Team. I mean, every team in every league are covered in those.
St. Mary's is really happy right now.
Guys, I'm telling you, we just need a couple of nickels and $50. We can go buy a team somewhere and we can get in the Super Europa League conference. We got this.
Speaking of which, Premier League vortex back to the States before we get into some MLS. Real quick, just going over standings and talking. Did you see who is part of a ownership for a lower league U.S. club.
A lower league U.S. club. That's kind of...
So you mean like is it a USL club?
Correct. Becomes co-owner of the Rochester Rhinos. Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy. He's doing a video about it. He's doing a documentary about it.
Yeah. Becomes, it was announced, I don't know, last week or maybe the week before, but becomes co-owner of American Football Club Rochester Rhinos.
Dude, let me tell you what
are they in?
Can we just talk about Party Vardy? If he is setting up his retirement to go drink in bars in Rochester and run a small club, I see what he's doing.
In New York State?
In New York.
That's
like, he's going to have a great time, man.
Dude's going to be on Broadway in 5 years.
Yeah, he's like
the modern, like the football version of Hugh Jackman.
He's like the everyman Pele, right? He's like
love it.
Beers and the chips in the plane lab. You go, dude. Go, Vardy.
So let just quickly, speaking of a celebrity who is a co-owner in a new in teams, did anyone happen to catch Matthew McConaughey playing drums to hype up Austin?
Very well done with yes.
And can I just say that it was awesome?
Combined with the rumors that he's investigating running for governor of Texas. Let's just talk about all 100%. That.
I mean, he's just there with the drum strap.
He is just there.
Green, like Dumb and Dumber leisure suit out there.
Yeah.
Like, love it.
How much?
It was awesome.
How big a bowl did he smoke out in the tailgate before they walked in and did that?
Who cares? Because it was awesome.
He shotgunned like 3 PBRs and smoked a bowl out there.
What's the Texas beer? We got to get that in here at some point.
What's the main Texas beer?
It's not Lone Star beer. That's from that King of the Hill show.
Is it Lone Star? It might be Lone Star.
Is it?
It might be.
I think you may be right. Like, yeah, there's the Lone Star beer. Yeah,
Lone Star. Yeah. So he shotgunned a couple Lone Star, smoked some premium weed from down south, and went out there and just played on those drums.
I would love. We're gonna have to get this on the pod. I've had it before when I was in Texas.
Never have. I've been to Texas a few times now, but I've never had it.
Well, I had good beer instead.
Well, yeah,
that's true. I went to like craft. Yes,
it's nothing special. But what I got to say is this: Lone Star. You go to LoneStarBeer.com, and this is so Texas. Lone Star, the national beer of Texas.
The national.
That is. It kind of makes me love them a little bit.
Like Lone Star beer, the national beer of Texas. You're not wrong.
That is kind of awesome.
Yes, I'm over the age of 21.
That's fantastic.
They have 20% off site wide right now,
and they got a cool shirt with an armadillo drinking one of their beers. Yes. I like that.
Doesn't he isn't he a sponsor of them or something? I thought he was.
Who knows, dude? He But the National Beer of Texas, God, that's beautiful. No, McConaughey's awesome. Make soccer happen, man.
Yep. Speaking of McConaughey,
so great.
Austin drew yesterday. Who did they draw with? Maybe they played on Friday. What day did they play last?
Yeah, we want to run through just kind of where things are sitting real quick. Before we
played
wrap up.
on.
But didn't they?
They beat Portland 4-1 on Thursday.
They annihilated Portland.
Yeah. In the Western Conference, though, what's that? Sorry.
They drew Columbus on the 28th.
That was the first home match?
Yes.
I believe. Yeah.
No, the week before was the first.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking of. But it's in the Western Conference right now. They're kind of all throwing just haymakers here. It's Kansas City who took first as of yesterday. They beat LA Galaxy 2-0.
I don't think any of us were picking them to do that well.
No, and they've played well. They have 8 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties on a +9 goal difference. However, they played 13 where Seattle's only played 12, and Seattle has a +13 goal difference.
Yeah.
And have only won and tied, have not lost a game yet. They drew yesterday to Colorado Rapids, who sit in 4th. My Colorado Rapids, because I could win a lot of money if they win the entire thing this year. And the Galaxy sit in 3rd. So between those 3 teams, Kansas City, Seattle, LA, they're kind of just going back and forth. Then it goes Colorado, LAFC. Minnesota United, surprisingly, are kind of just forgettably there because they did not start off the season particularly well, but are hanging around in a playoff space. It's still early, very, very early. Only got about 13 games played in total. Some have only played 10, some have only played 12, but still there. Houston sitting 7th. Portland in 8th, knowing Portland teams of the past, and although they got crushed on Thursday, I think they'll be okay. We'll see them in the playoff.
They're usually a second half of the season kind of team. They have always been good at getting hot and streaky at the right time of season.
Correct. Real Salt Lake sitting 9th. Austin FC sitting 10th. They've played well. I think the actual Gold Cup time will help them out a lot because, as the MLS does, they don't stop for the Gold Cup. So a lot of teams are losing a lot of people. And I think Austin could propel a little bit. San Jose sit in 11th. We saw San Jose here a few weeks ago, and City crushed them.
It was great.
Besides Wando, who is 38 years old, and Jackson Ewell, that's about all you got there in San Jose. FC Dallas are
sitting in 12th.
FC Dallas.
I mean,
they haven't had that good of a year so far. And Vancouver sitting 13th to round out the Western Conference.
As we look at the Eastern Conference, I'm just going to do a little backwards thing for you. Last is Toronto.
And they just fired Chris Armas yesterday because they got beat, what was it, 9-1 or 8-1, 7-1? By DC United.
They have a negative 14 goal differential.
And a lot of that was off of 7 of that, or 6 of that was off of the game just the other day.
Yeah, and Vancouver in 13th in the Western Conference, sitting at dead last, negative 6 goal differential. I mean, it's a the Eastern Conference overall.
Times have changed for Toronto.
Yes, they have.
Yeah,
yes, they have.
Drastically.
Oh, I said that like Matthew McConaughey. Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
All right.
But to top of there, New England is sitting up top with 24 points. Orlando with 21 in second. It's been nice to see us sitting in those top couple spots.
Look at our
goal
goal difference. We have 10. Plus 5 more than any other team right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, plus 3 more.
Only team that tops at Seattle at 13. Yep. But as far as the Eastern Conference goes, real nice to see Orlando's. Well, what's really wild? Not just to be doing well, but scoring that much. That's pretty
consistently.
Awesome. Yeah,
and defending that well.
Absolutely.
We have a couple of injuries on the back line now, which could hurt us, but
we're not giving up those kind of stupid goals as much. And I mean, our attacking for once has been I'm not going to say for once, because during the MLS's back cup or whatever that tournament was coming out of COVID, we were quite creative, which was at the time a sign of things to come. There's only one game in Orlando's recent past, I'm trying to find it right now, but where we just sat at every ball.
2 games. We've lost to New York Red Bulls now twice.
Oh, yes. Both the Red Bull games. You're right.
When we started the first half of Inter Miami, we were getting pushed all over the place, and then we're able to bring it back. Well, an interesting stat for Orlando an interesting stat for Orlando really quick is that we tend to score in the opening 15 minutes and the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, heart attack.
Complete opposite from what we're used to at all.
So we have a quite a good team this year. I'm quite happy.
It's nice to be up there that early. It allows you a little bit of leeway. We still have a game in hand actually on New England.
Because we've only been to the playoffs once, so it's nice to give you some breathing room to try and stay in that playoff hunt the whole time.
Correct. So it is so if you can start off early, odds unless you completely capitulate, and I don't think the Gold Cup's hitting us too hard. We're going to lose DK, and that might be it. I got to look.
Well, that's still a big loss.
We had lost DK for the beginning of the year when he was over in Barnsley, and we're doing quite well. So hopefully that continues where other teams are going to be hit more, like Nashville, who's sitting fourth, Union sitting third, NYC FC playing in Jersey. Makes a whole lot of sense. Are in fifth. DC United haven't been up this high since the Wayne Rooney days.
Yeah, DC United quietly staying above the line for now.
Mm-hmm. And then New York Red Bulls with their win over us a few nights ago are in that last spot. And then how cool was it? Do you guys see Columbus and their new stadium that they're in?
With their beautiful new stadium and their ugly new crest. Yep.
Yeah. Are they going to change that?
No, they changed it to add the word crew to the bottom of it because they had gotten rid of the crew and that infuriated everybody. But they've got this new crest that looks like...
crew is back?
It comes crew, but it's still that stupid C. It looks like such a corporate new redesign. The old crest was great. It was classic MLS, but it didn't look dated. It looked classic. You know what I mean?
And I like, if you're going to go new crest, don't go Chicago. Don't go Columbus. Go Montreal, who's sitting eighth. I like.
Their new crest. Yeah. But their new crest. What's funny is it's very in vibe with the old crew crest. Do you know what I mean? It's got that classic look, and I just don't.
Yeah, it's a very Montreal crest.
I'm like, you guys were going to get rid of your team. Your fans had to fight back to keep it. Then you win the MLS Cup, and then you finally get this. Then you change that. Man, it's just like you guys keep
there
shooting.
In a boardroom and go, "This is a good idea." There has to be somebody that raises their hand and speaks up and goes, "Y'all are a bunch of idiots. This is not going to go over."
No. Somebody did the research that when you change the crest, there's a 3% spike in sale. Whatever, it's some crap like that. But it's just like you keep shooting yourself in the foot with your fans. It's just weird.
I think it was okay to change it so that you could generate some revenue, but you should change it to something that doesn't look like it belongs on the side of an NFL helmet.
And that is the problem. That's what actually makes the new logo look like crappy old MLS, where old MLS was trying to emulate other American sports a bit in its designs and stuff, Yeah. I agree completely. It's kind of gross. Atlanta, hey, big rivals of us, classic. Even though it's new, great looking logo. Take a page. I bet they don't have no problem selling kits. It's so stupid.
They've also only won 2 games.
Yeah, they're sitting in 10th. Cincinnati, kind of an ugly classic old crest, but I do kind of like it. It feels older than they are. I don't just mean MLS. I know they've been around longer than that, but
Cincinnati's away form has been a hell of a lot better than their home form.
Yes,
true story.
Sitting in 11th, they are Chicago Fire, as you mentioned. Speaking of terrible new crests,
God, I didn't forgot they even played them.
That's a terrible crest. It's a good thing. It's a good thing they got a new one so they could just sit in the toilet.
God almighty.
Right. And then
now they've only played. Hold on, where are they at? Okay, so they played 8, but
11 games.
Yeah, they have
at home. They're 0-4-1, and away they're 2-3-1.
Yeah, not.
I'm sorry.
That's Miami.
I just read Miami's stat by accident. Chicago is at home. They're 2-3-2. Away, they're 0-4-0.
Yeah, but the Miami one you mentioned is pretty rough. No wins at home, 2 wins away, and then Toronto
with
1 win at home, 2 draws.
Does he last the year?
What's
the
that?
rate that they're going at? Who knows?
Oh, I don't know.
Because Chris Armas was the first casualty, and he just went. Who's going to be next? Is it going to be the highly touted Phil Neville?
And if we want to swing from MLS, I know, but we kind of got to get out of here in a second, to NWSL, it's cool because we can talk about Orlando being second in the hunt.
Yeah, twice. They were first until yesterday's game where we just looked little eggy. We looked tired.
Sluggish.
Yeah. And North Carolina, familiar sight, started off kind of rough, but have worked their way back up the table, are in first by a point. So,
yeah, Orlando sitting at second with 15 points.
We're having a bit of a hard time in form right now because we were winning like crazy.
Well, and we know with prior,
and now we
lost
drew
a few
2,
parts.
1-1, lost 2.
Well, and with
we've
prior
lost a few parts in each game. We lost Taylor Korniak and the game against the game against Kansas City in midweek. She was back yesterday, but we had no Phoebe in the back line, and we had no Alex Morgan, where Alex has been very, very good for us this year. And
did you make
Phoebe
it
in that back line has been amazing.
She's really helped to get Sydney Leroux a lot of space.
Well, I don't think it's her as much as it has been Taylor Korniak, this big 6'1" kind of number 10. Think about Peter Crouch, but not as a forward. Put him back to like a Messi-esque role. Those names aren't necessarily, synonymous with each other, but you're putting him in a number 10 role where what Taylor does is she sits in the center of the park. She adds an extra layer of trouble for the center defensive midfielders. And then that essentially isolates Morgan on one center back and Leroux on the other. Where what we had yesterday was only Leroux, and the center backs can either converge on Leroux while the midfield takes care of Taylor. So now you have 2 against Leroux, opposed to Alex Leroux running at your 2 center backs, which a majority of them in the league they're going to beat, and Taylor opening up that space so that center backs don't have to make a choice with Hirsch. What she does is she opens up the midfield, can play balls in on her head to allow those 2 to run at and basically be on a one-on-one with the backs.
And then it's around the corner, which we've dealt with before, and obviously in the NWSL, is what it's going to mean once the Olympics get kicked off and going, and it shakes up the dynamics. So for all those teams sitting in playoff spots, it's just important to hold on to everything that you can now, because it's a little unpredictable as what results you might get out during those times.
I mean, we're only going to lose Alex, which you say only, but from the model that I just described, that's a big loss.
Yeah.
It's a big loss. I mean, we're not losing Ashland this time. We're not losing Allie Krieger. Hopefully she's okay. She got injured and went off yesterday. We're losing our backup keeper. She's playing with Canada. Can't think of her name right now.
What is our backup keeper's name?
I can't think of her name. So we're not losing a great deal, but we're losing some, I don't know.
But then it shakes things up across the league. All the teams end up missing people. Yeah. So it it's always...
Portland's going to be hit a bit.
Yeah, Portland gets hit.
Now, they do take
They're sitting in third right
for
now.
The Olympics a few weeks, but there'll be a few games between people coming back and whatnot.
Yeah.
Houston kind of quietly up there.
Yeah, they're sitting in fourth.
I don't know if I think they're a fourth-place team. I think Gotham's more of a fourth-place team. They do have a game in hand.
By the way, speaking of crests that don't suck, Gotham FC is one of the coolest new crests for a club I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
That crest
I also got the chance, I don't know if you guys know this, but I got the chance to join the Soccer Over Gotham podcast.
Oh, I saw you had written about that, or posted about that on social media.
Yeah, they had asked the Black Swans, the supporter group for the Pride, to have, if they could have somebody on, and the supporter group kind of offered me up to do the pod, and it's available on your usual platforms.
What's the name of the pod again?
But Soccer Over Gotham.
Soccer Over Gotham. Just so folks can hear.
Gary and oh Lord, what's the? Cannot think of. We had to record it twice because there's a little bit of an issue. So it was Gary and Ruby for the first one, but then that one's not the one that aired. It was just Gary and I did the second. But they've had some good pods. They've interviewed Robbie Rogers, who I don't know if that name rings necessarily a bell in your guys', but former MLS player, first player to come out as, or first player that was playing at the time, I believe, for the LA Galaxy that came out as gay at the time.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. He played on the national team too, didn't
he? He did. He was capped for I want to say no more than like 20 games, but a very solid fielder in his day. So they had him on the pod, and it was nice to be a part of that. And I think when Gotham and Pride play later in the year, I get a chance to be on that again.
Sweet. So,
thank you to Gary and Ruby for having me on.
And they are sitting Gotham at 5th with 12 points. And then that gives us the last of the playoff spots, Washington Spirit sitting at 12 points in 6th.
I like Spirit's chances this year. I do.
Yeah. And the rest, and I mean, then the bottom, the next few clubs could pounce into those spots easily. That's Chicago Red at 7th, Racing Louisville at 8th, and OL Reign at 9. Also, Racing Louisville, love their cool crest as well.
Yeah,
really cool crest.
They just have to work out their defense. Right now, they're the only ones sitting on minus goal difference, but not of like 2 or 3, of 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's not too good.
Yeah.
They seem to be consistently confused as to who they should be picking up and who they should be releasing when it comes to those like crossing runs or those overlap runs. Mm-hmm. They seem to constantly not understand who they should be picking up.
And speaking of transfers, do you know who got her first look in Pride attire yesterday?
Oh, no, I do not.
Former Manchester United defender Amy Turner.
That's right. Did you get your Ad Astra scarf last night?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Huh? No, I have the Ad Astra kit. I have they're doing the season ticket holder boxes like we always get. Oh. Except instead of mailing them, you were supposed to pick them up at that game. And they're going to be at some subsequent games. I'll pick it up on Friday then. No,
so you go to the match.
I got the emails. I didn't realize that was the case. I thought they were going to nail that.
I think they said eventually they're trying to give them away, I think, at the matches. So it's
okay. I'll pick it up on Friday.
But it's cool. It goes
game. I forgot.
See if you can snag mine.
It goes from the purple to the black space. It's a cool looking scarf. It's just like the kit is so cool looking.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I saw that they finally were starting to send out that stuff and do all of that.
Yeah, I saw it.
See if you can snag mine. Nice. I'll give my ticket rep a call and
just say, hey, I'll stop by you.
Yeah, it was an email I saw right before that game that they were giving. I was like, oh, man, I couldn't make it yesterday. So I was like, oh, okay, I got to try to get out there so I can get that for the next one. And then the last club we didn't mention, right, we have the Reign, OL Reign in 9th and Kansas City in 10th.
Yeah, Kansas City. Love me some A-Rod, but they just not too good at the back.
No. But watch out. It can shake up after that Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
It always gets weird when that stuff's going on, whether World Cup or Olympics or whatever. And that wraps us up with the NWSL, gentlemen. Does that cover us? I know Ron's got to get here in a little bit, and so do I.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
That's really sweet. Well, it's good to chat with you guys again and do some beer and soccer. Whew, I needed it.
Yeah. Soon we'll get on more of a regular routine to what everybody's used to getting out this pod.
But well, when Ron gets back to
now, I'm making the best of it.
When Ron's back in this hemisphere.
When we can all be in one place, drink the same beer.
I don't even know what that's like anymore. I forgot.
I mean, I've got some good beers for us, or I got some fun beers. I don't know if they're good, but I got some beers I think will be fun for us.
Have to be better than the crap that Ron's been having over there sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. God.
I mean, I'm about ready to have a cookie puss right now.
I was going to say, I could crack out the red snapper for you from Butter, and I'm like, it's not as bad as I thought.
No, it's still terrible.
I am very much looking forward to that, and I cannot wait. Because that's going to be fun. It needs to happen. And I'll get the beer smell out of here by then, hopefully. Because I'm sitting here now going, that lemon lime spray I used to clean up this whole place after the beer exploded is faded away. Yeah. I think it's just back.
Are you sticking to the chair?
No, hey, fortunately, I sprung for the leather chair. So at least cleaning this was easy.
A little bit easier, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, if you enjoy the show, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or however you listen to us. And check out the website, brewtifulgame.com. And you can find us on Untapped, especially where we throw up all the fun beers. We don't throw them up. That'd be gross. But we post all our beers. And then we've got our Instagram, our Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Hit us up, give us a chat, talk some football and some beer. And yeah, there you go. Was that everything?
That's it.
Plus I asked. So there we go. We're covered. Now this is true. You're going to think I'm starting to joke, but this is true. You know what sucks about getting older? You can randomly become lactose intolerant. And I discovered that. And for 2 weeks, I felt terrible and went back and looked at all my foods and finally cut out dairy. You guys are looking at me for the chip. That part's true. So now I keep the nice little Lactaid pills around. So if I want to have something. So even like a lactose beer, I need to have that crap before. And it sucks. So that's all true. You can look at you guys. It is true though, Ferris.
We're waiting for the drop.
Well, because of the lactose intolerance, though, I have done more research into the situation. And it does show that studies say that cows produce more milk when a farmer talks to them. It's a case of in one ear and out the other. It's Ferris's face that makes it so worth it every time. You want to laugh at that. You'd turn your head.
You always say like dead air on a podcast isn't good. You got a lot of that after this.
Hey, that lactose stuff is true. It sucks. Oh my God, it's killing me. So that's why when I found this joke, I said I'm going to do this one.
I'm sorry that's the case, but
that sucks.
Yeah.
So now you get the chipper shredders every time you eat some cheese.
No, my belly just bloats up and I can't freaking move. So it's not there yet. But
how did you figure that out? Did you do like a food sensitivity test, or was it just like deductive?
So in all seriousness,
reasoning?
I thought we had made burritos that just made me feel bad. And then I was like, why do I still feel terrible a week later? And then the second week goes by and I was like, okay. And I was just like, I'm going to switch to like chicken and rice, or like, I'm just going to like go to a bare bones diet, figure this out. But I looked back at everything and I was like, well, I mean, because I eat a bowl of cereal in the morning and there's the dairy in there. So then I just cut the dairy out. And as soon as I did, like the next day I was better. I was like, son of a. So it's very annoying.
So I had something similar. But I had it for a specific beer. So, no. So there is a Pilsner at Jing'e, which is a great Pilsner. It's called Tuhao. And it's a great Pilsner, and I would drink it all the time. But man, the day after, I would have the trots something fierce. And
ladies and gentlemen, you
figure it out.
You are getting a preview of our new pod.
Right.
The Brew Chipper Shredder.
But it took me a good solid month to isolate everything in my diet to figure out that it was this specific beer. And I don't know what they do with that beer, but boy,
well, that's why
it wreck a person.
Well, that's why it took me 2 weeks. I've always eaten dairy, right? So it didn't like cross my mind. It took forever to figure out what was going on.
Do you know why I didn't get any sleep last night?
Fireworks?
No, that doesn't bother me. I can sleep with it all day long. I told myself I wasn't going to do it. I didn't want to do it. But we recently had the world's largest White Castle open up here.
Oh, no. You got murder burgers.
I got that with like the jalapeno cheese version, thinking that was a good idea to eat at 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, and that just lubricates
I didn't go to bed
right
at like 4:30. Oh, my stomach. I thought I was going to throw up. Everything. It went down. It went down fine. But like, come to find out, they were just like busted on a couple of health violations and stuff.
I was about to ask you, did you just see the article was like 20 health violations?
Now, the one next to it, Portillo's. Love Portillo's.
Oh, my God. That's
Portillo's
hysterical.
is fantastic. But, oh, man, that's why up to like 4:30, it was... I was like, I got home. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Like, I had an American-ass day yesterday.
That is pretty American-ass
day. I went to Portillo's, got some hot dogs, watched it, went to a brewery, had a beer while baseball and Star Wars was on TV. Can't get more American than that. And then watched a soccer game with a bunch of American players out there. Then was like, oh, you know what? Let's parlay it and let's double it down. Let's get some White Castle and watch Jaws.
That was the end of it.
slept for about an hour. Had to rewind and watch the end of Jaws, although I've seen it 700 times. But you just got to watch the end of Jaws. Woke up and I'm like, man, my stomach doesn't feel too good. Like, went to the bathroom once, tried to go to bed. Can't freaking sleep because your stomach hurts. So let's turn on something else. Started to watch something else.
Because you ate the Brown Castle.
About 3:30, went to the bathroom again. So right now I feel a little bit better. I can actually close my eyes.
Oh my God! I love the end of the pod is about having the trots.
I can't wait for you guys to have some traditional Sichuan food, because a friend of ours had never had it, and he had a big meeting the next day with pitching these, and so we had this amazing Sichuan dinner, which Sichuan food is really spicy and it's known for its numbing. Right, the numbing peppers, and he sent the group of us a WeChat that said, "I'm currently having a Sichuan sitch," and he's like, "I had to leave my presentation in the middle of it because of this Sichuan situation."
So you know what the deal was. Half that presentation, he's got that sweat on the back of his neck, and he's sitting there talking about. And you see over here what we've got, but in his head, he's like, "Oh my God." Oh my God, can I make it? Oh my God.
And in the movie of this moment, all you hear is his stomach going, blah, 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 right?
And he's like, I can do it. I can do it. Oh God, I can't do it.
Now, every time we go for Sichuan food, we're like, watch out for the Sichuan sitch.
Do not do before presentation.
Yeah, just make sure you have the day off the next day.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And all you do is get the morning sputters. Like, there's nothing.
That is the preview you're hearing now for our new podcast, The Morning Sputters.
The Morning Sputters.
Launching when Ron comes back with a bunch of Szechuan food recipes.
Your drive time, listen to work.
The Morning Sputters.
On WQQRS.
Amazing. Oh, my God. Well, that's going to be a success. All right, gentlemen. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.